All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started with Gonzalo's post-game press conference. We do have a couple media in the room, so we'll start with questions here, and then if we have time, we'll go to a couple from Zoom. If you do have a question on Zoom, just use the raise your hand function, and we'll get to you at the end.
Coach, what was going wrong in the first half that you were able to kind of correct in the second half?
Well, I think the pressing moments were very good. We were pressing actually pretty well, Columbus, but after we gained the ball, we were not connecting the passes. We were lacking a little bit of just either connect forward or just secure the possession for a bit longer. But very often we disrupt their build up very well. For example, the goalkeeper gives to Bartek in the first half, and then he immediately tries to shoot. But maybe if he has a bit more composure, controls the ball, and maybe he still attempts the shot. But if not, we can start our possession sequences. I think in the second half, once we start to do that and to secure the ball and to have some sort of possession, activate the wingers faster, we start to be a bit more dangerous, and then suddenly we start to have the control of the game. So I think that was one main emphasis, trying to get more of the hold of the game.
Y'all spent a lot of the preseason focused on winning away games or being more competitive in away games and finding that focus for 90 minutes. What did you see in those areas today?
Yeah, I see that. I see the team is more focused. I think today we did a very good job, especially the second half. I was very happy with the response of the players. It's not easy to play the champion, the first team of the season, and they did a great job. I think they adjust very well. I like what I see in the locker room, the belief that they have in themselves, and yeah, we lost today. We cannot change that, but I think especially the second half performance is encouraging. We can build something out of that, and yeah, I see a better mentality already, and yeah, we have to come back to the next game.
Did you and your staff make any changes after that 5 minute period or so in the first half where Columbus started to switch the point of attack quite a bit? They weren't able to do that as much in the second half. Was there any changes made, or was it just better execution?
Yeah, a little bit. Diego and Rob work a little bit on that, on the position of the fullbacks. In that sense, it's difficult because they're always trying to play in behind. They have players in the pocket, players willing to attack the back. So somehow they are doing counter movements. Someone running behind, someone checking the pocket. So if the whole back line is dropping off, then there's a lot of space in between the lines. So again, I think in the first half we regained a lot of passes through the inner channels, and we did a good job on that. But again, we were not able to secure the ball after that and start our possession and our attacks. But yeah, the position of the fullbacks was key, I think, and then the wingers were doing a lot of work. I think Shande, Sava, Tyler did a great job at covering a lot of ground, covering a lot of passing lanes. So yeah, again, it was a good performance, but it still wasn't good enough.
Felt like the second half, the wingers were able to impact the game on the offensive side a little bit more. Was that just kind of the evolution of the way the match flowed?
Yes, we talk about our wingers trying to be more we call it activated earlier. So whether it's the ball in behind, whether it was into the feet to go 1v1, I think we did that. But also we start to play with a bit more freedom, with more belief, and combining better. Especially on the left side, I think we're combining very well on that side. On the right side, we're a bit more direct with Brooks and Saba, balls in behind and crosses. I think we were lacking in the second half a bit of connection in the final third, and being able, once we start our territorial dominance, how we can connect the best pass, the best possible decision inside the box in the prime assist zone. So we'll continue working on that. But again, good response for me.
On Columbus's goal, it appeared to me like a situation where people just didn't recognize some dangers. Sava let Rossi get behind him. No one picked up Cucho on the back post. Is that an accurate description?
Oh, I think we solved that. I think there were moments where we needed the fullbacks to be more aggressive on their wingbacks, and there were some other moments where maybe we need to wait and delay the pressure because there is a threat of the underlap, and that's what happened in that play. I think Brooks went too earlier into that play outside to Yeboah, and then Rossi run in the channel, and then Saba from the winger position had to follow that far, and that's how they got into that goal. But again, it was a rebound. It was, hard to take account of the ball in that part. So I think, yeah, it was a great strike also by Cucho. But I think if you look at the way we defend those crosses and the shots and how many shots we block, I think we did better. In general, we look more solid defensively. And yeah, but in that specific action, I think there were a couple of things that we can fix.
All right, we got time for 2 on Zoom. We'll go to Sydney first and then Casey. Sydney, go ahead.
Hey, Gonzalo. Atlanta's next match is in 2 weeks, obviously at home against the Revs. Are you concerned about this layoff coming up for your team, or would you prefer them coming back next week and an opportunity to kind of shake off what happened tonight?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand the first part of your question.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So the next match is in 2 weeks against New England. Are you concerned about the long layoff for your team, especially with the season just starting and already you all have a 2-week break? Is that a concern for you?
No, not at all, to be honest. Of course, having some rhythm helps, but at the same time, we couldn't have Thiago in any of the preseason matches, so we'll have a little bit more time for him to know the teammates around him and Bartek and Stian having more time with the team. And then Gigi and Stian that actually lost a few games of the preseason. We're going to have some training sessions for them, trying to make sure that they know each other better. But actually, we will use these 2 weeks to be ready for the next 2 home games.
Casey, go ahead. Last question.
Hey, Coach. You spoke a bit about Columbus's movement off the ball and the challenges that can pose. Obviously, that seems to be a bit of a calling card for them. For your team in the first game of the season, can you talk about just sort of what type of physical and mental challenges it takes to play against a team like that when they're clicking and starting to really move the ball around and make all those runs?
Well, yes, physically it was a game where we need to spend a lot of energy because of how many passing lanes they open for their center backs, and then we have to cover a lot and shift over a lot and making sure that we are doing a collective effort at blocking passing lanes, forcing the balls to the areas where we want the ball. But it's part of the process that we have to go against a team like Columbus. At the same time, I felt like the second half, especially, we're moving the ball very well, actually, a little bit better than them. So I think we are 2 similar teams in that sense, in terms of the style and the way we build. So as much as it was a challenge for us, I think it was a challenge for them in that regard.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll have players up next.
Okay.